She was paid to ruin him. A high-profile senator with blood on his hands, and a woman no one would ever suspect. But what the world didn't know is that she had wounds of her own. She didn't need to fake the pain. She lived it every single day, abandoned at 15, sold to survive. Her body became her currency, her silence her shield, and now they handed her a target. Senator Richard Marlowe, decorated, respected, dangerous. He was everything she was, taught to hate. But when she looked into his eyes, what she saw wasn't power, it was grief. A haunted man, hiding a secret so dark it made her mission tremble. This isn't a story about revenge. It's a story about two broken souls, colliding in the worst way possible. She walked into the lobby like she belonged there. Red lips, black heels, no fear. The security camera saw a woman of elegance, but no one noticed her eyes. Sharp, calculating. Hollow Leah had studied him for weeks. His schedule, his weaknesses, his routine, every Thursday night at the Meridian Hotel, Suite 806, alone, private, always under a fake name, always untraceable, except to her. He was known as Senator Richard Marlowe, a man with influence stretching from Capitol Hill to the inner boardrooms of Wall Street. But beneath the polished speeches and charity gatless, there were rumors, whispers, transactions that never saw sunlight. She wasn't there to seduce. She was there to expose. But the moment the door opened, something shifted. He didn't look at her like men usually did. No smirk, no hunger, just a quiet nod, and a question she didn't expect. Do you ever regret the things you had to do to survive? For a moment, her mask cracked. She laughed softly, controlled. Is that how you start your evenings, Senator? But he didn't smile. He just walked to the window and stared out at the city lights, as if searching for something that never arrived. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to gloat, to flaunt his power, to give her the evidence she needed. Instead, he poured 2 glasses of scotch, handed her one without a word, and sat across from her almost like he was, tired, not physically, soul tired. The kind of exhaustion Leah knew too well. The kind that doesn't come from running, but from hiding. Still, she kept to the plan, hidden microphone in her clutch, camera lens sewn into her jacket. Every movement was calculated. But he didn't touch her. He didn't ask her to undress. He didn't even ask her name. Instead, he told a story. About a boy raised by silence. About a war that never ended, even after the battlefield was gone. About how power was just a mask for shame. She didn't answer. Couldn't. She had heard men lie, had seen them twist their guilt into seduction. But this wasn't seduction. It was a confession. And in that moment, something unexpected happened. She began to wonder if maybe he wasn't the only one being watched. The second meeting wasn't part of the plan. She expected silence, distance, maybe even a cancelled room. Instead, he was already there waiting. Same window, same drink, same storm behind his eyes. This time, he asked her name. She lied, of course. But what startled her wasn't his question. It was how gently he asked it. He spoke less that night, but listened more. And Leah found herself speaking, just to fill the space. Not about the mission, not about pain, just fragments of music, of childhood memories, of streets she had walked alone. And still, he didn't touch her. At one point, he said, "Some people pay for silence. Others just learn to live inside it." That night, she didn't activate. The mic didn't send the signal. Outside, the city buzzed with noise and neon. But in Suite 806, 2 strangers sat in silence. And it was the loudest truth either of them had heard in years. She didn't mean to find it. A folder, tucked beneath old newspapers in the drawer of his study. Thick, heavy, personal. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Photographs, letters, medical, reports. A boy with hollow eyes. A military discharge stamped in red. Psychological trauma. Survivor of abuse. Every page peeled back a layer of the man she was meant to destroy. He wasn't just broken. He was abandoned, used, forgotten by the same system he now served. Leah stared at the documents, breath shallow. For the first time, she saw not a target, but a reflection dot, because behind her own eyes lived the same shadows. She put everything back in place, slowly, carefully, and as she left the room, one question echoed louder than any order she'd ever received. What if he's not the villain, and neither am I? The file could end him. One email, one leak, and his world would collapse. She held the evidence in her hand, and yet couldn't press send, because now It wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. And truth is never simple. He trusted her in ways he didn't understand, and that trust raw silent was more powerful than any secret. Leah stood at a crossroads. Destroy the man, or protect the wounded soul she'd come to know. And maybe, just maybe, protect herself too. What would you do in her place? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button. This channel shares real, unforgettable stories like no other. And stay with us. The final chapter reveals the moment that changes everything. She could have disappeared. No one would have blamed her. No headlines, no scandal, just silence. But silence, this time, wasn't surrendered, was mercy. Leah left the file on his desk, untouched. No warning, no message. Just a single white lily beside it. When he found it, he knew that someone had seen all of him and chose to leave him standing. He never spoke of it. She never returned. But something changed. The next week, he declined a major deal. The month after, he sponsored a reform bill, one that would have hurt him years ago. People noticed. Some whispered redemption. Others called it weakness. But those close to him said he seemed ... lighter, not healed, but no longer hiding. And Leah, she never looked back. She didn't need to. Some victories don't need applause, just peace. If this story touched something in you, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you're ready for another emotional journey, we recommend the next video, one that might move you even deeper.